That's the tube that's going to carry the filtrate down to the urinary bladder, right there. Okay, so you can see they come in. Here's one coming in on this side. Here's the other one coming up on the other side, entering the back of the bladder, right there and right there. Okay? Okay, so if we take a closer look at some internal anatomy. So here's I'm not sure if this is a sheep. No, this has got to be a cow kidney. This is huge. Okay, this is the capsule, membrane surrounding the kidney. We know the kidney is this bean-shaped thing, right? A little indent there, that's called the hilus. That's where the ureter comes out, and the artery and the vein. Okay? So we open up this thing. This outer part of the kidney right here is the cortex. That's where all those little nephrons reside, right? All Bowman's capsules and all that stuff that you learned about. Okay? Those are all out here. This inner part is the medulla. Okay? At certain spots, you can see that the cortex kind of dips down into the medulla. Those are called the renal columns. And these spaces in here, sort of triangular looking things, it's a little hard to see on this kidney model, this kidney here. These are called the renal pyramids. So what happens is all those little collecting ducts come down, and they end right here at the tips of the pyramids, called the papillae. And that's where the filtrate drips out of those collecting ducts. And it collects into these little spaces right here called minor calyxes. Those then drain into larger spaces called major calyxes. And eventually they drain into this big open area here. If this were not cut in half, this would be a big open area right in here. This is called the renal pelvis. And that holds on to the filtrate until it exits the kidney through the ureter, on down into the bladder. Okay? So if we look at our human model, which is even easier to see, renal capsule, here's the hilus, right? Here's the ureter coming out, there's the renal artery and the renal vein. Okay? Look on the inside, this is all cortex here. Okay, this is all medulla here, and here are the pyramids. Okay, these are the renal pyramids. You can see the renal columns, the cortex coming down, separating the pyramids. Okay, so all those collecting ducts would be coming down here. They would be dripping filtrate at the tips, called the papillae, into the little spaces right at the ends there, called the minor calyxes. Those would drain into bigger openings called major calyxes. Those would all drain eventually into this big opening here called the renal pelvis. And then the filtrate would exit the renal pelvis through the ureter and be carried down to the bladder. And then the urine in the bladder exits through the urethra. Okay?